On 24 December 1999, Indian Airlines Flight IC 814 took off from Kathmandu and was headed to Delhi. Normally, the flight takes around 2 hours, but for the passengers and crew on board, reaching Delhi would take much longer. Shortly after takeoff, while passengers were being served food, 4 masked men stood up and began taking away the food, announcing that the plane had been hijacked. They entered the cockpit and forced Captain Devi Sharan at gunpoint to fly west toward Pakistan, specifically Lahore. The plane had 11 crew members and 179 passengers on board. Pakistani air traffic controllers in Lahore refused to allow the aircraft to land. Meanwhile, Indian authorities learned about the hijacking at 4:40 p.m., and the Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee was informed at 5:20 p.m. At 6:04 p.m., Indian ATC established communication with the aircraft. Captain Sharan reported that the plane was running low on fuel and requested that Pakistan allow the plane to land in Lahore, warning that the hijackers were threatening passengers. Pakistan still refused permission. Captain Sharan managed to convince the hijackers to land in Amritsar for refueling. At 6:44 p.m., the plane began descending toward Amritsar. This created an opportunity for Indian authorities to regain control. The aircraft landed at 7:01 p.m. at Amritsar Airport and requested refueling. However, major communication failures occurred. Punjab's Director General of Police, Sarabjit Singh, learned about the hijacking from TV news, not official channels. A crisis management group planned to delay the plane to give commandos time to prepare. The hijackers refused to communicate with local police and demanded to talk to officials in Delhi. Captain Sharan repeatedly requested refueling because the hijackers threatened to kill passengers. During the delay, the hijackers attacked passenger Satnam Singh, injuring his neck with a knife. After 40 minutes, a plan was made to hide police officers in a fuel tanker so they could puncture the aircraft tires. Another idea was to block the plane with the tanker. However, the tanker driver stopped suddenly near the aircraft. The hijackers realized something was wrong. They forced the pilot to take off immediately without refueling. At 7:49 p.m., the plane took off again, narrowly avoiding the tanker. This happened just as NSG commandos reached the airport. Captain Sharan sent a message to ATC, "We are all dying." The aircraft again headed toward Pakistan, only 50 kilometers away. Pakistan initially refused landing permission and switched off airport lights. Captain Sharan warned that he would crash land on a highway if not allowed to land. Finally, the plane was allowed to land in Lahore at 8:07 p.m. The aircraft was refueled. Pakistan turned off the airport lights again and surrounded the plane with commandos, but negotiations failed. During this time, passenger Rupin Katyal, a 25-year-old returning from his honeymoon, was stabbed and later died. The plane took off again and attempted to land in Oman, but permission was denied. At 3 a.m., it landed at Dubai's Al Minhad Air Base. After negotiations, 26 passengers were released and flown back to India. Passengers revealed that men were separated from women and children, and everyone was blindfolded. The 5 hijackers used code names Chief, Burger, Doctor, Shankar, and Bola. Food and water were running low, and conditions inside the aircraft worsened. On 26 December 1999, the plane landed at Kandahar International Airport in Afghanistan, where the Taliban government offered to mediate. India did not recognize the Taliban regime, but sent negotiators including Ajit Doval. The hijackers demanded $200 million, the release of 36 prisoners, and the body of militant Sajjad Afghani. Relatives of passengers protested and demanded the government prioritize the safety of hostages. Negotiations lasted several days. Eventually, the demands were reduced to the release of 3 prisoners. By the 5th day, conditions inside the aircraft had become very poor. The Indian government agreed to release the prisoners. On December 31, 1999, India released 3 militants in Kandahar. In exchange, the hijackers released all remaining passengers. Instead of arresting the hijackers, the Taliban allowed them to leave with the released militants toward Pakistan's border. The passengers finally returned to India after 7 days of captivity. The hijacked aircraft was retired in 2001. The incident led to severe criticism of the government's handling of the crisis, particularly the missed opportunity at Amritsar. It also had long-term consequences, including the strengthening of militant groups such as Jaish-e-Mohammed. Since this incident, no commercial plane has been hijacked in India due to significantly stricter aviation security.